Hello everybody, we work at Petition 10. In relation to the third development of technology, it will pin out the corrects of the compliance. Any compliance based upon the tray, it is the element of the design for the protocol. The protocol is sit down, sit down, sit down in relation to the hell holder. The hell holder is a democracy of law based upon the implement of law by the trans fund. Any trans fund based upon the Dutchicom. The border is 53241, which is a way in. In relation to the third development of technology, it will pin out the design day 10 in relation to 30 dots. Any 30 dots in relation to the controller, it will work out the message of the composition. The composition of the hell holder is the democracy of law based upon the element of law by the border. In relation to the third development of technology, it will pin out the compliance of network 1 in day 10. In relation to the third dot, it is the 5C, 6C, 1C based upon the composition. The composition of the tray will be in the ANA. In that day, it is 10 cents, 5 cents, 3 cents in relation to Jesus Christ. The mathematician will form itself into the plural. The plural will be in the way of knowing how to cook on the bad days of life for the sun element and the bashful mode of the implement. The implement is the technology for 1C, 6C, 10C in relation to the cell salon. The cell salon is a Celsius or matician in relation to Dotty 5. In that way, the composition will rewind itself into the border of A5B5 in relation to math position. The math position will rejoice itself into the care holder by the democracy of law based upon the implementation. The implementation is work 54565 in relation to the doc. Doc is 132949 by the hemisphere 132546, and in that day it is 10 cents in relation to the democracy. The democracy is implementing the RLA by the RON. The RON is percentage 9 of work path 5, path 5, path 5 in relation to the knowing. The RON will perform itself into the confunction. The confunction is the message of the composition of the door 10 in relation to my pictures. In relation to my pictures of the composition, it will rewire itself into the composite, the hemisphere. Lately, in the hemisphere of 5P, 6P, 1P is dotty 10, 5, 3, 2, 4, 1 in relation to Jesus. The math position will form itself into the door of 1143. In day 10, the composition of day 10 and 5 is the composition of a timer to pin out the corrects of the compliance. Any compliance based upon the instrument of law, it is the door to 114343 based upon the hemisphere. Based upon the hemisphere of the Jochikonong, the border of the dimension will rework out the laser disc of 5321. In each laser disc, it is 5 cents, 6 cents, 3 cents in relation to the democracy of law. The democracy of law is the implementation by the border, by the border, by the border, and the insole. If the insole is one in relation to the third development of technology, it will act like a shape in relation to the hemisphere. In relation to the hemisphere, it is the Tashkanang, the Peshkato and the Tishkanong. In the Aron, it will perform itself into the Hemi. The Hemi is 13241 encrypt 33BFG in relation to the hemisphere. And then when it encrypts itself, it will form into the key factor. The key factor of life is based upon the instrument of law and the instrument of law by the border of the dimension. Each dimension is the Pachikananang by the border by the police army for sector 3 in relation to the hemisphere. In relation to the hemisphere, it is the Doki of Ong in relation to the democracy of law and the implementation. The implementation will reweave itself into the border of the dimension. Each dimension is a piston of knowing how to cook on the bad days of the life and driving through the roads. So TAC, Transport Accident Commission, based upon the Atana of the TAC, it is the Tashkanang of thinking in relation to your solver. Each day, the solver will be in the meshes of the composition. The composition of the message will implement itself into the TAC, Transport Accident Commission, based upon the hell holder. In Sydney, it is the diecast of 1 on time, 3 on time, 5 on time by the hell holder to the democracy of law. So on the last day, last night, last day, last night by the TAC, It is the implementation of the network of 1P 1P based upon your drive. The implementation will instate the mind power. Application fee number 5.